don't know.
What do you think?
Know? Like I said, I don't want to moralize about that.
I'm not immoral. Right. Just do you think they're denying their femininity?
I think if
by selling
that's a good question.
Sex.
That's a good question. I mean, I believe in individual choice, so
yeah,
we have to.
I'm not asking about.
Well,
the
then we have to
define.
We have to define what is femininity. Then,
yeah,
for me to answer that question,
well, whatever it means to you. Do you think they're denying what it means to be a woman by selling their access to their genitals?
Yeah. I think they probably are selling themselves short as people, but I can't put a judgment on as a woman, you know.
Do you think prostitution's immoral?
Whew. Anything I say now can be retracted after I've thought about it some more, because I'm feeling, it's kind of like on the spot questions on things that I haven't really researched and thought about. It's funny because this is kind of not avoiding the question, but I don't think it's immoral. I don't think, unless there's lying and cheating and murdering going on, I don't think it's immoral. It's an exchange of one value for another, it's a value that's really precious, that should be considered really precious, in society, which is, sex and a woman's like reproductive organs, but if it's not hurting anyone, as long as the woman isn't forced into prostitution, as long as she's not sold by some nasty pimp who's, blackmailing her or threatening her, if it's her rational, conscious choice, I don't think so. And it's interesting in the Bible, when we learned when I studied for my master's in Jewish studies, 2 prostitutes went up to King Solomon, had an audience with him to resolve the matter of their baby, Yeah. There was no judgment at all in the book of Book of Kings.
One of those books.
One of those.
Samuel or Kings.
There was no judgment to the prostitutes that did this. Tamar, right? Yeah, dressed,
as a hooker.
Disguised herself as a prostitute. Yeah. There was no moral judgment in the Bible.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Rahab in English.
Right. In the book of Joshua saved the Jewish people by giving access.
All hookers are portrayed positively in the Bible.
Yeah, so, kind of flipping that on its head. I mean, because I just said before that the Bible isn't like the moral authority, the absolute moral authority, but assuming that it carries weight in,
What is the absolute moral authority if it's not the Bible?
Reason. But reason's a big topic, because what is subsumes reason? Is intuition subsumed under reason? And it's a broader discussion. But
most women, I sense, have an inherent distaste, if not hatred, for pornography and prostitution. But I don't sense that in you. You don't feel threatened by it. You don't feel dirtied by it and disgusted by it.
No, I don't. Also because for me to break out of my mold, I had to have an open mind to sex. I had to kind of just to feel okay with what, with having premarital sex, or not following the path of, I'm going to save myself till a marriage. Like, I had to just snap out of these like conventions and really have an open mind, because I'm sympathetic to sexual desire, I think it's something that should not be squelched. And like I said, if there's a valid exchange and no one's being forced and no one's being cajoled and no one's being cheated or robbed, then in creation of pornography or in creation of prostitution, then I don't see who it's hurting, unless, you ask some politicians or you ask Tiger Woods, or you ask Elliot Spitzer, maybe they're hurting, but that's their choice. It's not the act of prostitution it's the use of it, or the administration of it, that could be unethical, and that's with any business.
What are the joys and oys of being a singles columnist?
Joys and oys. Joys, Well, just the creative joy of any creator of having a thought and idea and getting it out there. Um, um, at least if the date doesn't go well, at least I have something to do with it. I can. Um, uh, the satisfaction of feeling like I'm sharing knowledge that can help people. I would say money, but it hasn't really paid off financially. Um, Although sometimes there was a point where I did feel like I'm selling my personal life. Like, this isn't right. And now I don't get so much into my personal life, but more of like my thoughts about relationships. Um, and that's where the oys are of like being so open, which as an artist and a writer, I don't have a problem with that. It's part of my personality. But it's men might think it's hazardous going out with me. I don't know.
Have you ever heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
Have you ever sensed that?
You know what? If that's how they feel, they're probably not man enough for me. But and let it be said that I am discreet. Like I don't write in any way that's identifiable and just kind of take concepts that I've gleaned from the specifics of a date, or dates. I don't know. We'll have yet to see the hazards. We have yet to see more oys, but that's it. It's getting personal, especially now giving advice to men. It sets my own standards very high, which reside in me subconsciously, but now it's making it conscious. So it's kind of like, will I go out with a guy who now doesn't ask me specifically on a date? Because that's probably going to be the subject of one of my columns, of ask a girl out on a date rather than like, let's hang out, I said I do.
Say, let's do yoga.
Let's do yoga. Are you asking?
How about a guy said to you, let's do yoga? Would you like to do yoga?
I think that would be cool if you've seen the guy on a date and
No, you haven't gone on a date.
If it's just let's do yoga.
Would you like to do yoga one night?
See, this is the problem when men don't ask on a date. You don't know what the intentions are. You don't know, does he want to hang out with me? You don't know, is he just a friend who wants to teach me yoga? You don't. It mixes intentions.
Of course you know. No one's going to take you to yoga just because they're a friend who wants to teach you yoga, even if they're posing as your friend. All heterosexual men who ask you to do synagogue, yoga, anything, do it because they want to sleep with you.
Right. Is it sleep with you or date you?
Or both. Some may have so much respect for you or because their religion demands this that they may not sleep with you till you marry them.
Right.
But all of them are motivated by in the end, I will get to sleep with this woman.
Right.
No one's going to ask you to yoga or anywhere because they want to show you how to golf or how to yoga or because they're so interested in...
I think that's fine, but if he's not going to take her out for coffee or be with her one-on-one and it's just going to be an activity, it's murky waters. It's a gray
Why
area.
is it so murky? They want you. They're just going into it. People don't date as much anymore.
They want you, but then she's assuming he wants me for sex. Or when a guy...
for sex.
But
then, not only sex, but...
But if he's not having a one-to-one conversation with you, if the yoga is not followed by, let's go have a cup of coffee, and you're talking, then she might read, he wants to sleep with me, and it's up to her if she wants to do that, and if, I don't know, if the guy was so sexy and is and his cat-cow or whatever, and she wants to have sex with him, she might have sex with him, but I guess a lot of my advice now is more of how to handle dates for a relationship, or even for sex, but then, be upfront about it, I think.
Have you noticed that people don't date anymore? Like people who are younger, they don't go on dates.
They don't. I know.
They just go out.
I know.
Hang out.
They
hook up.
They go out. They hang out. It's come to my house. Let's watch a movie. It's going to a party. Want to come? And I think it's sad. I mean, it's a cop out. It's just a cop out for getting to know someone one-to-one, for having good communication. it prevents a man from putting his ego on the line, because when you're just hanging out and you're friends and it's kind of sliding into something sexual, he never hears no. He'll never hear no, you know? It's just that maybe